Welcome to the Inquisitive Wren podcast. I'm Sha, your host. Join us as we explore diverse perspectives on the human experience, offering insightful interviews and deep reflections on philosophy, spirituality, psychology, from a bird's eye view on the essence of being. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Inquisitive Wren podcast. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming Victoria Gallagher, who's a worldwide hypnotherapist. She is also a best-selling author of the book Practical Law of Attraction, and she's an international speaker, a life success coach, and she's renowned on the law of attraction. Now, I know when we speak about the law of attraction, there are a lot of opinions about it. Most people refer back to the book The Secret and the movie The Secret. It feels as though that was ages ago, which it was really. And Victoria helps us to understand the difference between manifesting law of attraction, and she has a special niche because she incorporates hypnosis into the law of attraction. And I love that because I really believe that that is the key. The unconscious mind will always hold the key, and you can access the unconscious mind through hypnosis, through therapy, hypnotherapy, and getting into that relaxed state so that your mind and body separate slightly, just enough so that what rises to the surface are all of those blocks and what you really, really believe about your life, about other people, about attracting success, about manifesting good luck, and even manifesting your soulmate. And Victoria tells a great story about how she met her husband, which is just fascinating. Also about her book, Practical Law of Attraction, which gives you very simple steps on how to begin your journey into attracting good luck, weight loss, and manifesting your soulmate. She's got over 20 years experience. Now, what I really love about Victoria is her podcast. Her podcast, The Power of the Mind, has about 200 plus episodes and over 1 million downloads. Now, I hope and I aspire to get to that point one day. And Victoria talks about her app as well. So she has an app, the Believe app, and it's hypnosis audio sessions, and they're fantastic. So you can use those to help yourself. And sometimes people go into therapy and they don't do anything else. And I believe you got to throw absolutely everything at the problem. A holistic approach tackles everything: the mind, your thoughts; the body, what you're feeling, how your body reacts; and of course your spirit, your soul. And there's lots of talk about spirit, the soul, the mind, the brain, all of that. So it doesn't matter. Whatever you believe, whatever research you've done, whatever decisions you've come to about all of those topics, you can use hypnosis to help yourself to remedy some of those old habits and old beliefs. So I was very happy to have her on the show today. She's a wonderful lady, lots of experience, and because hypnotherapy is one of my favorite topics. And I did a podcast on hypnotherapy, so if you haven't seen it, I will put the link, or listen to it. It's an audio, so it's a solo episode, just talking about how hypnotherapy can help with different aspects of your life. I just want to quickly mention, when we talk about attraction, this goes beyond a soulmate or your partner. And I know there's talk about what's a soulmate and all that, but it goes beyond that, because I believe some people are attracted to us, friendships, all of that, and some people just aren't. And that is a soul issue. That's a soul connection. If you've ever met someone and on sight you form a dislike for them, then there's reasons for that. You can't just say, I don't like that person. There's a reason why you feel the way you feel. You can watch a movie, a film, even though it's a character, you see the character and you think, oh, I can't bear that person. And so when you don't like someone on sight, there's a lot of things connected to that. Some of it is memory. Now, unconsciously, that person could remind you of someone. But it's the same with blockages when you find that you're unable to manifest certain things. If you've ever had a situation whereby you think, right, I've got to do something about that, and it just falls into your lap, that's happened to me so many times, it's not always the best choice or the best option. And sometimes if you wait around, a better option will come up. In haste, these options just fall by the wayside. They're gone. You've made your choice. And it's almost as though if you see something that just slips away, that's the same as when we make a choice. I believe spiritually, once you've made up your mind, the mind, body, spirit, then your spirit says, okay, they've made the choice. We're done here. We've shown them loads of choices. That's a choice they've made. By hook or by crook, that's it. So they will deal with the consequences. And I've certainly had that happen to me, whereby I felt something as soon as I met someone, and I didn't fully ignore it, I knew, and then I still made a decision to go ahead with something, be it a partnership, or friendships, whatever. And then it just all tumbled because I didn't wait for the options. And I believe attraction happens when we wait around just to see what's next, what's coming. Because we don't trust the process, we sometimes jump quickly to a decision. And when we do, all of those options fall by the wayside. And I believe the law of attraction, attracting all of that, we sometimes do attract everything we're looking for. We're looking for all those options. What can I do? I need to do that. I need to make this decision. I need to do whatever it is. And the options come up, but because you are so focused on the outcome and making a decision about it, you feel stressed, pressed to make a decision. It feels as though time is running out. You make that choice, and then the options go away. And then you have to start the cycle again. Why? Because the options will be different this time, simply because of the choice you made. So the options will be different, but that doesn't mean you should stop looking for a change or the other option. We can go back to the law of attraction. What we give out, we get back. So I think if we want to attract good luck, manifest your lifelong partner, lose weight, whatever it is that you want to attract into your life, more salary, more money, your own business, whatever it is. And by the way, people will try and stop you from doing that as well. And whatever it is, you've attracted that. So I don't know, maybe in some way you might like the challenge. You might like proving people wrong. Now, a lot of people think this is hoppy pop, and is that a word? Or whatever it is. They think it's rubbish, basically. A lot of people think this just doesn't make sense. It's not real. It doesn't matter. You can believe it, or you don't have to. I say that to people who come for past life regression. Sometimes they'll say, "Do you know, I don't believe in any of this, but I'm coming because a friend told me to." Fine, I don't care. If you believe, you believe. If you don't, you don't. Let's just get to it, and let's help you with the issue. And a lot of people are helped through the issue, through the process of past life regression. So I don't believe you have to actually believe in everything. Sometimes these things can just happen. Maybe it's your unconscious mind believing, and you didn't realize consciously that you believe. Again, that's another debate for another day, another show, another episode. I'm happy to have it, happy to talk about it. But I think what Victoria does by incorporating hypnosis into manifesting and the law of attraction because it is a law. So let's welcome Victoria Gallagher to the show. Victoria, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored. Thank you.
Great, because I love hypnotherapy. I trained 94, I think, way back in the day. So,
Ooh,
yes, so it's brilliant stuff. Now, you've got some very great stuff on your website. You've got an app. We're going to go into all of that. Books, we're going to talk about those. Your courses. I mean, you are a busy bee. Um, But I really want to ask you about law of attraction. Now, we know that that's like a buzz phrase and there's so much talk about it.
yeah.
However, you're the first person that I've seen who's linked the hypnotherapy to the law of attraction. I love that. So tell us a little bit about why hypnosis and law of attraction and how people can use hypnosis for the law.
Yeah. Thank you for that question because I love that question so much. And I really love the call out that, I seem to be the only one that has. I think other people are starting to catch on to that. But the whole thing is that, when I learned about law of attraction and hypnotherapy kind of simultaneously. And so when I was going through what I had gone through some personal development trainings, and that led me to hypnotherapy. And during, all the books that I was reading at that time, like this was like in the late 90s, I was just really gobbling up as much information about this, reading Think and Go Rich, Deepak Chopra, Shakti Gawain, like a lot of these, Bob Proctor. I was like really diving into all that stuff. And that we talked a lot about the law of attraction and manifestation and vibration and energy and just all this wonderful stuff on how to set goals and how to bring things into your reality and how thoughts become things and to think is to create. Now, I was just learning about all of that. And then it naturally led me to wanting to, teach this stuff. I just like, oh, how can I teach this? And what that led to is I wanted to create recordings. I wanted to be a singer when I was growing up. I have a good voice. I love making recordings. I love writing. And so it was just a natural gravitation for me to want to do that. And wanting to make the recordings, wanting to like make meditations or visualizations or affirmations on recordings, I wanted to know that I knew what I was talking about. And so I wanted to have some credentials behind me to do that. So that's what led to hypnotherapy. And so I became a hypnotherapist really in order to create all of the content that I, wanted to create. But of course, that led to like, well, you know what? Maybe instead of doing this whole stockbroker thing, I'll actually open an office, start seeing clients. And I'm so glad that I did that because that really was the right way to do it. Because, writing these hypnosis scripts, sort of manufacturing these ideas in my own head about what people's problems might be or the best way to really go about resolving that. I just found that working one on one with clients, it actually opened my eyes up to see what people were actually saying, what was actually going on in their subconscious mind, what was actually holding them back. And so essentially behind the scenes, I didn't talk very much about law of attraction. I talked a lot about hypnosis. And, over time, when The Secret came out, even though I was integrating a lot of these spells into my hypnosis, I was, saying things in a certain way that I really feel resonated on a much deeper energetic level with people. And that is why I got over 4,000 reviews on my programs because they really, really work, because they integrate this law into the subconscious mind and really help people on an energetic level to align themselves with these principles. And you can call them laws. You can call them principles. I use law of attraction because that's the term that everybody's familiar with. But really, it's just aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, your vibration or your emotions. Like vibration is really just a fancy term for like how you feel, turned outward. And so when The Secret came out, and now like, okay, this is going mainstream, and people are actually finding out about my little secret, that I have been integrating into all of my hypnosis sessions. I decided to come out from behind the closet, with like, yeah, this is what I've been integrating into my hypnosis for all this time. So I started actually talking a lot about law of attraction, and then I started getting invited to speak at conferences. And one of the organizers of a conference, wanted me to do a whole certification training on law of attraction at her conference, and I'm like, well, I didn't even have a curriculum. Like I just had a lot of ideas going on in my mind, but I didn't actually have it written down in such a way that I could say, okay, first step, you do this. Second step, you do this. Like I just, I was just kind of, these are things I know about. And so it really forced me at that time to sit down and figure out like, okay, what does it really take to make this law of attraction work? And that's when I wrote the book, Practical Law of Attraction. And I really started, that just kind of became my thing. It's like, okay, I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I'm certified trainer in law of attraction. And I just married the two. And, I think your question was, why does hypnotherapy works so well with the law of attraction? And it really just has to do with the whole subconscious mind. Because when most people set out to use the law of attraction, they are doing so on the surface level. And this is why so many people don't actually get the results with it. They write down their affirmations, they say their affirmations, they visualize, they make vision boards, they say their 555s. There's so many techniques. And none of these actually get you into the subconscious mind. And the only way really to get into the subconscious mind is, well, the quickest way, I should say. That you can get into the subconscious mind other ways, but it's not as effective as hypnosis. And hypnosis is the most effective way to get, to get the messages into the subconscious mind. You can get there by repeating these affirmations a million times, and eventually something's going to sink in, because when you are hypnotized all the time by things you hear over and over and over and over again. So eventually, yeah, they will take effect, or through some heightened emotional experience, that you've had a lot of times, like that's where beliefs are formed. When we go through some traumatic experience, it's like, boom, it changes you forever. And that's another way that we, but that's not practical. You can't really manufacture an experience like that. So that's why we use hypnosis.
Let's just talk about hypnosis for one moment, because
Yeah.
it's just my favorite thing. I absolutely love hypnotherapy. I've told this story before. I was doing a hypnotherapy course, and we got to the bit about smoking. And I love the course anyway, but I was smoking at the time. And I had no impetus to stop. It wasn't even in my mind. I didn't even care. Anyway, I had my cigarettes in my pocket. We were going to take a break after the session. So the instructor gave, an example, put us all in hypnosis. I have never smoked again.
Oh my
I
goodness, that's
had no
amazing.
intention of stopping. Well, I guess my unconscious did, my subconscious did, but I've never
Mhm.
smoked it. So for me, hypnotherapy, I was already on the course. But if I needed proof, that was it. But I wanted to say to you, in your examples, what you just described is the law of attraction. You started
Absolutely.
all of this, and then people started coming to you saying, come on and give a talk, come on and do a course, come on and do. I mean, if that's not law of attraction.
That's the first I've actually even thought of that like that because I have attracted so many things into my life. But you know what? It is true that I went through a period of time, and it's like so many coaches um, told me, like, oh, you need to have a niche. You need to because I had this huge website with 500 products, and it seemed like the more products that I would create, the more confusion it would create and the less sales I would have. And, people, that to fix that problem, so many coaches told me, like, oh, you need to just, create a niche. And I didn't believe in that stuff at the time. Of course, now I totally do. And there was like this moment in time where I said, I really want to work with entrepreneurs and I really want to help them to manifest success. And I really want to help them. But, it's like I went through my own stuff about that. It's like, am I good enough? Like, am I the one? Am I who am I to, am I, and the thing is like, that's just, when you're any kind of change is going to bring up certain fears and certain doubts and certain, but it's like when you get clear that's like, okay, well, this is who I really want to serve. This is the audience that I love serving. And so I made that shift. I just took a bold move and I just said, you know what? That's it. I'm going for it. I am working with entrepreneurs, business people. Of course, I work with other people. Of course, like in, sales people come to me. People were, struggling with relationships and wanting to manifest things like their soulmate, which is another thing I have a lot of experience in. And, but when I got clear that this is who I am, and it's not even like this is what I want to be, like this is who I am. And I think the more authentic you are in your business, the more you're just going to naturally attract. And the thing is that it's kind of a controversial topic with some people. There's a lot of people that don't buy into it and think it's BS. And they think it's BS because they just don't really understand what it is. It's just not all this woo-woo stuff that gets, touted and promoted and everything. So that it's understandable why a lot of people think it's BS because what they're seeing is BS. What they think it is the magical thinking that they think it is kind of BS. So, all that to say, what I feel like been able to do, because I think there's a lot of attraction, but the opposite of that is the law of like the opposite of that is like when you're turning people off. And that's what you want to do. You really want to, when you're wanting to manifest something, you want to turn off everything else that might be trying to get your attention so that you can focus 100% on, what it is that you really, really want. So, I strive to turn off the the audience that I don't want and turn on the audience that I do want. But I know you want to talk a little bit more about hypnotherapy. Sometimes I get pulled to talk about something I don't even know why.
Oh no, absolutely. I believe it's all related. It's all, and having said that too, well, okay, see, I'm about to go off track. So what's the big, okay, hypnosis, mythbuster. What would be the biggest myth that people might have about hypnosis, hypnotherapy?
Well, I think one of the biggest things, and there's a number of myths. It's full of myths. One of the biggest things is that the hypnotist it's about mind control. And that the hypnotist has some kind of control over you, that the hypnotist, and they get this from watching stage shows or watching things on TV, and they see like, oh, you're getting sleepy with the little waving, we have one of these pendulum. And so they'll see that and they'll think, oh, it's mind control, or that it's just BS as well. Like that's just another one that a lot of people think, is that real? Does that really work? I mean, do you know in the last 25 years, whenever I introduce myself to somebody in public, and somebody will come up to, and like, does that really work? And it's like, what are you saying to me? What are you really asking me? Are you asking me if like the work that I've been doing for the last 25 years, like I'm just, so it's really an interesting thing. So a lot of people will think that a hypnotist can make them do something against their will. And it's, nothing could be further from the truth. And the thing is that you are giving your permission just by saying, I want to be hypnotized, for the hypnotist to put you into a trance. And then, but when you're in a trance, you're completely aware you're even more aware. Like you are so dialed in and to the, and so focused and eliminating all the other distractions from your mind. That focused attention, and doing that when your brain waves are in a slower down state, called theta. When you're in that kind of a focused state of theta, your mind is wide open and it allows the suggestions in. Now, you still have the conscious part of your mind participating, allowing the suggestions in. So if I were to say to you, say that you're wanting to improve your business, and you want to, it's like from now on, you take time each morning to get very clear on how your day is going to go. And your day just goes that way, that smoothly, that amazingly. Well, you're going to be like, oh, yes, I love that suggestion. Give me more. And that, is your conscious mind allowing and receiving that suggestion to go into the subconscious mind. Now, if I were to say to you that you love waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and, getting up and, going for a walk, out when it's dark, and you're going to be like, what? What are you even talking about? You're going to come right out of trance and you're going to reject that suggestion. I mean, unless, of course, it's something that you want to do. So if something is just really going against the grain of your values, what you really believe in, you're going to reject that suggestion. And so that is an example of like how you are always in control during, a hypnosis session.
Never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button right now. Thank you for your support. You make this podcast possible. Now, back to the show.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant one, because at the start of my career, that was the first thing I was always asked.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to, if anything happens, what can I do? Can I open my eyes? I said, look, if there's a fire alarm, you will open your eyes.
You absolutely will.
Exactly. And so, yeah. But I like what you just said, because hypnosis actually feels so nice. It's a lovely space to be in.
It does. And, I have forgotten how nice, I mean, I do it every day, but I've forgotten about that. I've just kind of taken that for granted, that is a benefit that if you've never been hypnotized before, oh my goodness. I mean, it's probably it registers up there with certain other feel good things that we're not going to talk about right now. It's a different subject. I mean, it feels so good. It's one of the most amazing, most relaxing, most blissed out feelings that you've ever experienced. And when I say blissed out, like you're still here, you're just like, I don't even know how to how to even compare it with anything, but you just feel like you're floating on a cloud, and you're just like have no cares and concerns at all. And it just feels wonderful.
It is wonderful. And, I encourage all hypnotherapists out there, because you're all doing all the work. You never do it yourself. You've got to do it for yourself because it feels so nice.
It does.
It really does. Now, with the law of attraction as well, you've explained a bit about how you kind of came upon it. But was there a moment where you thought, wow, this stuff really works? And I can now show other people how to do it.
I think what it was for me was when I manifested my husband. And this bona fide like just showed me, and it was so close to when the movie The Secret came out. So my husband and I met on Match.com, and even the way we initially met in when I was living in Las Vegas was kind of law of attraction, because I had reached a point. We met each other. We went on 3 dates, and then I don't know, we just like I started seeing another guy, and we broke up. And then about 6 months later, we ran into each other again through an email exchange. And so that happened after I was listening to my own hypnosis session called Attract Your Soulmate, because I just had it with the dating scene, and I was like, okay, I just really want to like take my own advice and do this. So I attracted him kind of back into my life. So this was attraction number two with him. Then we ended up moving back east, and long story short, we went through this roller coaster of, are we gonna, get engaged? We got engaged, got unengaged. We eventually broke up, because he said that he never wanted to get married, and I broke up with him. And so it was really hard. And I just made a commitment that I was just going to totally let go of him. And I just made this like 90-day thing where I just got in the best shape of my life. I've, let myself cry every day, write in my journal every day. I started visualizing myself meeting my soulmate. And I had this whole little story. It was like this continuous story of meeting my soulmate on the beach. And it was like we met on the beach. And then every time I would go back to my visualization every day, I would continue the story, and we'd go on a date, and we would, and it wasn't him, it wasn't my husband, it was just some fictitious character that I made up. And we would have movie night at the house, and it's like it. So every I was just enjoying the whole vibe of this. Meanwhile, I was still crying, letting this guy go, and having that. And so one day, it was like day 85 into my 90-day plan to become the person that I want to be, that's going to manifest my soulmate. I decided I'm going to go back to the karaoke bar where the two of us used to go sometimes. It was my karaoke bar. Like, he just was sort of along for the ride. But I showed up there. His freaking car is in the parking lot. And I hadn't seen him in all this time, hadn't communicated with him at all. So I mean, this is a long time. He could have been with a girl, anything. And I decided to walk in there. And I walked in there, and he was the next person to get up on stage, and he was singing With or Without You. And he spots me in the crowd. He comes over to me. He's like, how are you doing? And he tells me he's been thinking about me, and it's been a little hard, and he had some things he wanted to share with me. And well, at this point, I'm thinking like he's going to share something with me, like he's gay, or he's going to travel the world, or he's going to become a monk, or like, I don't know. Like, the furthest thing from my mind was thinking he wanted to get back together with me, because he made it very clear at some point during our relationship that once he breaks up with someone, or that, once you break up, it's over forever, so I just believed that. And I just took that like as the word. So it was, so he, says, let's get together. So we get together, and he breaks out in song and poetry and all kinds of things, and basically tells me he wants me back. And I said, well, what you have to do, because we've already been up and down this whole engaged, non-engaged thing. And a week later, he asked me to meet him on the beach. And before I have to digress. I actually told my personal growth group in February um, that I was going to yeah, I left some part of that out that makes it even more spectacular. I'm not going to go into that right now because it's too hard to go back and anyway, bottom line is May 24th of 2007, we met on the beach in my just like my scene in my mind of meeting somebody on the beach. But it was my my ex, and he put a ring on my finger, proposed to me, and we were married a year later, and that was May 24th, 2008. And so we just celebrated our 16-year wedding anniversary. And that solidified it for me. Like, there's no doubt in my mind if something like that could happen. And it's not just the law of attraction, but it's also the law of detachment, which I believe is part of making the law of attraction work. Because when you try so hard sometimes and get it very attached to the goals, your vibration is, at stake. And so this really just, the whole thing was I would allow myself that time every day, that special time to just let that go and just feel good and just know that the universe has something, better, for me. And it turned out that it was him, just in a different form.
That is incredible. No, really, that is incredible. And the prime example of, as you say, detaching from it, even throughout your visualization, not having that face, not having any of that,
Yeah.
but just a person, the one you want, the man, the one you want, whoever it might be.
Whoever it might be. And I had no idea at the time that I was calling him back. I just knew this is the type of person that I want. And these are the qualities of the person that I want. And it was like, there was the furthest thing from my mind was that it was going to be him. I mean, when I say it's the furthest thing from my mind, did I have like little glimpses of like, what if he does come back? Of course I did. I did have that little idea in my mind, and I set it up perfectly because I'm like, well, what if he does try to come back? I need to be disciplined about, whether I'm gonna just kind of get myself back into the same boat with him. So, but he was sure this time. Like he knew he needed that time to figure it out on his own, to figure out that like I am the one, and he really does want to get married, and he can't live without me, just like he was singing about.
Yes, but what's really powerful in there as well is the fact that you didn't waver from what you knew was yours. In other words, marriage.
Yes.
It's not for everyone. Everybody doesn't. But for you and for many people, it's the sanctity of marriage, however that represents or whatever that represents for people. And you didn't waver from that. And I think people make a mistake. Oh, it's not coming. It's not happening. Maybe I should lower my expectations. Maybe I should. But you never wavered from that.
Exactly. Exactly. So many people, when you compromise on what you want, you're never going to end up really getting, what you want. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your intuition to know that there's a reason why you want what you want, and no one has the right to tell you what you should want or what is available for you. Even before I was manifesting, before we even met on Match.com, I mean, you should see my profile. Like, even that was a manifestation in progress, because the way that I just put out everything that I wanted. I mean, I would get guys that would email me saying like, "What do you, who do you think you are?" Like, yeah, I don't care. This is what I want, and I'd rather have this, and than and I'd rather be single than not have this.
You see, that's what didn't waver. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly that. I mean, who do they think they are? Expecting something. Yeah. So at least they showed you, right? You're not the one. I love it when people come forward in life, however, at work, at neighbor, whatever it is, to show you exactly what they're all about, so
Yeah,
that we can make the decision.
absolutely.
So
But
interesting.
that was the moment it really just like, okay, there is definitely something to this. And
Yes.
and it's one of the hardest parts, I think, when it comes to law of attraction is that trusting and letting it go and really believing, really, really believing that you really can have whatever you want, but you have to believe.
You do have to believe. Now, you've mentioned The Secret a few times, and Rhonda Byrne, fantastic. I mean, there was a lot of controversy around that, we know. But, and you mentioned Bob Proctor as well. Oh, my favorite, rest in peace.
Yes,
He was the one I really followed from all of that. I was drawn to him quite a bit.
he's amazing.
Yes, he was a fantastic. His work is still out there, of course. So your first book, Practical Law of Attraction, how is that different from The Secret?
Oh, that's a great question. So, with The Secret, and, I've, actually met many of the secret teachers, Bob Doyle, Joe Vitale, they all essentially, even they agree with me, that the way that the movie presents law of attraction, it just barely scratches the surface. And it's just a little intro, but it makes it look like so magical. Like all you have to do, it's like wishing on a star or to a magical genie, rubbing a lamp, and all of that. And they're really leaving out the practical aspect of what it is that you really need to do. They barely mention anything about action. And, I don't even think it's talked about that, the subconscious mind needs to be bought in on this, or, the limiting beliefs that you might have need to be cleared away. And so, what my book, Practical Law of Attraction, does, and when I wrote this book, it was like I had a angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, and not necessarily the devil, but I just mean like the pessimistic person that was constantly questioning me, because I happen to be that kind of person myself. I not a pessimistic, but I analyze. I don't just buy into something right away. And so I always, as I was writing the book, I couldn't just leave it at just delivering a concept. And then when I would deliver that concept in the book, this little part of me would say, well, tell me more, like, how does that actually work? And explain that more, prove it to me. And so I needed to really make sure that this book walked you through exactly step one. How do you get clear on your desire? Like that is so important. Like that in and of itself stops most people in their tracks, because they say, "Oh, I want a lot of money." "Oh, I want to I want to go on vacation. Oh, I want a new car." But none of that like means anything. It's just not clear enough. You have to create a clear image and idea in your mind, and you have to be able to feel that. And you have to be able to see that, and you have to be able to believe that at the deepest level. And so, rather than just saying all that, I go into the details and create, and I have exercises in the book, a lot of exercises in the book where you write about things, where you actually go into hypnosis. I teach self-hypnosis in the book. I teach you about like what actually is a vibration. Like so many people just say, "Oh, you got to raise your vibration." Well, what is a vibration, and how do I raise it? How do I even know it's raised? And so I teach all the techniques that teach you exactly how do you do these things that everybody says you have to do. And so for me, the book is all about getting into alignment with the what I call manifesting conditions. And these are like a checklist. They're not necessarily needing to be done all in order. They just all need to kind of be in play. So you need to have that clear desire. You need to have your thoughts lined up with that desire. You need to have a clear image of what you want, because it's the image that really communicates to the subconscious mind. And you need to have your how you're feeling. You could be totally clear on what you want and walking around in a funk all the time. I don't have what I want. I don't have what I want. I'm very clear about what I want. I'm writing my affirmations about what I want, but you're going around saying, I don't have what I want. You're never going to get it. So I teach people how to change all of that through, some pretty, um, you know, uh, thorough exercises and help them to, and that's why it's called practical law of attraction, because everything in there is like something you can actually do. Like it's like this is what I do, and once all these things, and it just makes sense, once all these things are in alignment, there's no way you will not be able to manifest. It's just science.
Let's take a quick break from the show, and if you're enjoying today's episode of the Inquisitive Wren podcast, we'd love your support. Leaving a review, hitting that like button, and subscribing on your favorite platform not only helps us grow, but also ensures you never miss an inspiring conversation. Your comments mean the world to us. They spark new ideas, they connect us with incredible guests, and keep the energy flowing. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or watching on YouTube, or listening on your favorite platform, take a moment to share your thoughts and spread the word. Together, we're building a community that celebrates curiosity, growth, and transformation. Thank you for being a part of the Inquisitive Wren. Now, let's dive back into today's episode. So that brings me to the issue of people talking about the law of attraction, saying, well, I must be doing something wrong because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I like what you said about the visuals, because that is the power of visualization. Really feeling, sensing that you're there, that you're stepping in the sea, that whatever you're doing, you can feel your toes beneath the sand, or the sand between your toes. You've got to sense it, feel it, see it, get in there.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that is visualization. So I love that you said that. It's so important.
It is.
How we get what we want, but it's also how we draw towards us what we don't want.
It absolutely is. And the thing is that here's the it's like the hardest thing to be able to do. It's like you have what you experience right now as your reality. Like as clear as day, I have a computer sitting in front of me that has things on it. I have that chair over there. I have all these physical things. And I also have my bank account that has, X amount of dollars in it, right? That I look at. I have that car in the garage. I have this husband, or the lack thereof. All of these physical things that show us what we have and what we're capable of having. And for most people, it's not what they want. And so what they're doing is they're constantly reinforcing to themselves the lack of what they want and the things that they have that they don't want. And the hardest thing is to be able to like disappear that, fade that into the background, and bring up and feel and experience the new life that you are moving into and act as if that is your reality now. But you kind of have to. You've got to let go of the scene that is right there in front of your face and the physical proof that is showing you what reality is for you, and you have to invent a new reality in your own brain. You have to manufacture that, and you have to believe that one and feel that one as if it is more real than the reality that you're living right now.
And
That's the
that,
hardest part of it.
I was going to say, that must be a struggle. That must be a struggle for many people.
It is. Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure why. Why do you think people struggle to do that?
Well, I think part of it is just the way that our brains are wired. Our brains are really wired to focus on the negative. And it's the negative just constantly gets reinforced. If we watch mainstream media, if we listen to our friends who have negative beliefs that say, "Oh, that's too hard," or "You shouldn't go for that. That's, way out of your league," whatever it is, and well-meaning people, your parents telling you like you should get a real job, or all the negative stuff that we're fed as we're growing up. It just kind of gives us a natural, not a natural, but like a normal. It's not really our natural self. Our natural selves are expansive and imaginative, but that all gets turned off at such an early age, especially when we're going through school in elementary school and we're sitting there drawing our dream home or our dream life or something. We're tapping into this beautiful, extraordinary imagination that we're all born with. And then the teacher says, "Stop, daydreaming, come back to reality." And you're taught, and you're just kind of cut off from that. You don't ever lose it, but it does get sort of hidden from you. It goes into the background. And so that's why it's hard for us to daydream and imagine and just be in this place, because imagination just gets downplayed as this, well, it's just your imagination. And it's imagination is everything. Even Einstein, one of the most brilliant people of our time, says so, that imagination is everything and is more important than knowledge.
Yes, Einstein certainly said that. Besides your work, your excellent work as a law of attraction coach, hypnotherapist, you're also an accomplished author. So now we've talked about your first book, Practical Law of Attraction. So I want to talk a bit about your book, Attract Good Luck, because luck for some people in some cultures and countries, luck is really revered. People say good luck, bon chance, that is supposed to lay upon you a blessing. But in some cultures, mostly Western, it's like, we say good luck, but do we really mean it? Do we really feel it? What is it? So how do we attract good luck?
I know, it's such an interesting concept. So like the other day, this just brings me back. Somebody was commenting on one of my YouTube videos, and he was just in a really funky place. And he just started using all this vocabulary. And again, one of the things that he said was like, well, with my luck, you'll probably never see this, And, this is like such a negative, pessimistic view of the world that so many people have. And so, of course, when you say things like that, you are, I'm just going to change gears here. There are like billions of bits of data constantly, surrounding us that we could give our focus and our attention to. And we are only able to process just a fraction of that information. And so we're not even aware, we're not even awake to all of the things that are all the lucky opportunities that are always right there. There was a study done where like they put a dollar bill, or not a dollar, like $100 bill on the ground. And they had all these people like kind of just walking by it, and they interviewed them before and after. So there were the people that saw it and then the people that didn't see it. And the people that didn't see it, they were the ones that have this kind of pessimistic attitude about luck. Whereas the people who did see it, they're the ones that are open and available to seeing new opportunities. So I believe, and through many, many studies that have been done similar to that, that luck really comes about when our mindset is prepared and opened to seeing what's already right there in front of us. We're just seeing what we're tuned into. And what we're tuned into are the things that, the reticular activating system in our brain is tuned into. And how it's tuned into those things is just based on your belief system. So whatever you believe, like I'm just not a lucky person. You believe, in the same things that you're seeing day in, day out. It just becomes sort of habitual to see the same thing over and over again. And so you are tuning out all the opportunities, the chance for anything good to happen. So in my book, I take you through a bunch of, I'm also certified in NLP and neuro-linguistic programming. And a lot of this is just, about the way that we speak to our brain and the way that we communicate and the brain patterns that are in our minds. So I help you to repattern your brain so that you're much more available to seeing the lucky opportunities that are always right there. They've always been there. You just don't see them or you don't act on them because you think, oh, nothing good ever happens to me. And so, luck is something I believe we all can create.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, NLP was started by two hypnotherapists. So it is about our language, how we see things, reframing that, which is what NLP is all about. So it's all linked. But that brings me to your next book, The Ultimate Weight Loss Power, because it is a power to be able to do that. But is it about willpower? Because so many people have said when they come to hypnotherapy for either weight gain, because I've had both come to me for either weight gain or weight loss, and people are surprised about that. But there are people who want to gain weight, and because of biology or it could be hereditary, they find it difficult.
Yeah.
And so is it about power in a different way or willpower? And do you believe in willpower?
So I believe that willpower has its place and its purpose. Willpower is really kind of there just to get you through the day. It's not a long term, it's not part of your long term strategy. It's a short-term strategy. You can use willpower to turn on your hypnosis session every day. You can use willpower to, maybe get you through the first 3 days or so of your diet. So that it's a conscious function. It's not a subconscious function. And so, what is where the power really is in the dialogue that is in your subconscious mind. And we have to change what is appealing to, to want to consume, and change even the meaning of what some of these foods actually are. So if you're having, and so with like ultimate weight loss power, the way because I have a history of many obese people in my family. As a matter of fact, I'm the only person who has not ever been obese in my family. I've had ups and downs with my own weight, and so I know on a deep level what it's like to get to that place where you kind of feel like, why am I giving in? Why can't I just like set these chips aside? Like I just love chips or whatever it is. And why can't I just reach my goal weight? And why, and so I've been through it enough times and failed enough times and succeeded also enough times that, I put this book together because I believe that there's certain habits that ultimately we need to create, and those habits need to be handled at the subconscious. And whether, for one person, they may have a great habit of eating right, but they're just not working out, or maybe they don't drink enough water, or maybe they just have a fat body image of themselves, stuck in their subconscious mind. They see themselves as they can't even see themselves the way that they want to see it. So I put all of the different barriers to success in that ultimate weight loss power book, and really, starting out with a foundation of just setting a SMART goal, of exactly what do you want to achieve with your health, and then going through like, okay, we're changing our thoughts. Okay, this week we're changing our relationship with food. Okay, this week we're changing our relationship with water. This week we're changing and so week by week, we're changing our relationship with each of the things that are going to set us on the path to success with our weight loss. And, of course, it could also be the weight gain. For somebody who wants to do that, you can do that through, choosing foods that are going to be more appropriate for that type of goal. Choosing exercise habits that are going to be more appropriate with that. So it could really work either way. But it goes deeper than willpower. It goes to change the habit patterns, the beliefs, having you craving the foods that are good for you. I don't necessarily put my own beliefs on, I don't impose my beliefs on what good foods are, because everyone has their different. Some people are like into the keto. I've been there. Some people are into just, fat gram counting. Some people are into calorie counting. It can work for anybody, no matter what your conscious strategy is. I just help you to get that conscious strategy to be a subconscious strategy.
That's the key. And as you outlined with the law of attraction, it is about having the practical steps as well, because the secret was missing. Just to quickly go back to that, the practicality of
the practicality of it. Absolutely.
And that brings me to your latest book, which is How to Manifest Your Soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a bit about, you gave a wonderful example, a personal example of how that's done. And we do know, everybody will have their own thoughts about this, but I don't believe humans are essentially meant to always be on their own. Now, that doesn't mean we have to all couple, but we need some kind of human interaction. I think that's how we're built. And it's okay to cocoon yourself away and hibernate and all that stuff. Some people are loners. There's an array of personality types out there. So I'm not preaching out there to you guys saying, oh, you must be with someone. No, not everybody wants to be.
That's true.
But if you do want a soulmate, is there anything else that you might say to someone who feels they may want a soulmate, but they're frightened, or perhaps they're not ready?
Yeah. And that could be one of the reasons. In that book, I really thought long and hard about my story and what it actually took to manifest my soulmate. And so I put it into practical, techniques and lots of hypnosis and lots of exercises and writing prompts and things like that a person could go through. And I kind of like tell my story throughout. And so the thing is, one of the things that I probably didn't mention is really letting go of some past, ideas about relationships, because every relationship we grow and we learn, and it's not always the other person's fault why the relationship didn't work. And as a matter of fact, even though there's always two people and it takes two people to tangle, I think the more you can assume 100% responsibility for the results that you create, including the result of having a relationship that didn't work out, the sooner you can arrive at that, when you accept 100% responsibility for all of it. Even it could even be just like if it was an abusive relationship, obviously you're not accepting and tolerating abuse, but maybe you stayed in that relationship too long, or maybe you didn't look at some warning signs. You ignored your intuition that told you there's something off about this person. Anything like that. If you could just, look at what did I contribute to create this, and when you do that, it makes you less of like a victim, and it makes you less of like at the mercy of just, okay, well, I guess, these bad people just show up in my life. And so I can't have a relationship because all I have, all the men that ever show up, they're either cheaters, liars, or da, 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 right? And you continue that mantra of saying, this is all that ever happens to me. Nothing good ever happens to me. I never can seem to meet the right guy. I'm just going to stay single the rest of my life. And is that really what you want? Or is that what you're just sort of selling for and resigning yourself to this beautiful thing that you can have? Because it's really just, again, it's kind of about reframing the situation and looking at it from a place of maturity, responsibility, personal growth, and then making a decision that, like, okay, it's time to try again. And it's time to be very clear with the universe about what I want. Because when we are wishy-washy, like, and so many people do, they get hurt, they go out on a date, that one didn't work out, and they're like, you know what? Skew it. I'm just going to stay single. Well, the universe says, okay. But then a few months later, you come crawling back and you say, I think I do want this thing. And, you get out there, you try again, but the universe remembers, like, all the men that ever come to me. And this goes for men finding women too. All the men that ever come to me, they're just liars, they cheaters, they just da 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 da, right? And so that's who that's who you're lined up with. That's all you're ever going to attract, because that's all you believe that's going to happen. And it's that same, like, you have a radar looking for whatever it is that you believe is going to happen. But guess what? There are so many wonderful, beautiful, single men and women who are available. And, of course, if you're gay or bisexual, same, on all fronts, you know, um, whoever you're looking for, is who you're going to find. And
Yes.
that's what it ultimately kind of comes down to. Whoever you're looking for is who you're going to find. But so many people underneath the surface, they're looking to prove something that they keep, recreating. And you have to change who you're looking for, because whoever you're looking for is who you're going to find. So it teaches you about changing the old stories so that you can change and create a new story about who you're available for.
Fantastic stuff. Just a couple more quick questions, but that is amazing. And also the links to all of Victoria's books will be in the show notes. And you're so busy as an author and doing your practice. What do you do for fun? How do you relax and just have fun in life?
And I've learned that you have to plan fun because I love my work. I absolutely do. And so one of the things that I absolutely love doing, and I'm so fortunate to live here in Phoenix, Arizona, right around me, we're surrounded by all these beautiful hiking trails. And I just love hiking. That's like my most favorite thing to do. So I'm super fortunate about that. I love traveling. So, occasionally, like a couple times a year, we'll go and visit. We try to visit some kind of foreign country at least, once a year. Like last time was Ireland. We've been to Iceland and New Zealand and Hawaii. And I mean, that's not a foreign country, but it's like one. And so I love that. I love, just hanging out with my husband and my cats. And I mean, I do like my typical, just typical stuff like watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, watching America's Got Talent, just cuddling up and I love my cats. I have 3 cats. As a matter of fact, one of the books that we didn't chat about was my cat's secret to manifesting. So he got in on the deal with me. That's my cat Velvet. So, love just, I live in a big, nice house and, I'm in my recording studio here. But my other favorite room is my meditation room. And in there, that's where, I literally get up at 5 and I spend time, doing my manifesting work, meditating, doing silent meditation, listening to hypnosis, journaling, reading. And of course, Velvet comes in there and hangs out with me while I'm doing all of that. Like he's just a magnet for, whenever I'm doing this work. So, yeah, I'm fortunate that I get to do something that, is sort of like why I'm a little bit of a workaholic, because I love what I do. I love the recordings. I love making the videos. I love, changing people's lives, working with people, talking on podcasts, public speaking, writing, so it's like, it's hard to sometimes not do that. But yeah, those are, a few of the things, reading, meditating, exercising, going for hikes, walks,
Excellent.
hanging out with the cats and my husband.
Yes, well, I was going to mention the cat book because we're cat lovers as well. And
Oh,
yes, we have a lovely cat here. She's sleeping to my left. But yes, your book about just my cat's secret to manifesting. Just quickly, if we could just touch on that, because I did want to mention that at the end about the cats or cat, and because they're so intuitive and they tend to give us heads up, I believe.
yeah, they do. And, so that book came from a different angle. Of course, it was written in the voice of velvet, and it's like totally it's like totally spoken in his voice, about like all the things that he's learned about manifest, or that he's sort of actually he's already knew about manifesting, because he's a cat. And so it's about why they're so magnetic, and how we can become more magnetic. And one of the things is just, they're so present. Like, they're not sitting around worrying about when they're going to get, this and that. They're just here. They are right here, right now. And they do what they want. They they're very patient. They just have this quality about them that just draws you in. And if one sunspot in the house is taken, they'll just go find another one. They're just not attached. And so I just really kind of took it from a very playful, but yet, it does have some practical ideas in there that you can apply, just to help you from a little bit more of a, like with my practical law of attraction book, it's a little bit more action oriented. This is a little bit more passive. This is a little bit more how you sort of really be. It's the beingness.
I love that. I mean, you're so busy. I don't know where you find the time to write as much as you do, but it's fantastic. And thank you for sharing all of that. And
Yeah.
also thank you for sharing those 500 or so recordings on your app. So can you tell people how to access the app?
So I have my newest app, Believe, is actually, we have over 1,000 sessions on there now. I know. I am addicted to creating content. It's a problem.
People love
But
it.
there's over, and so where you can, so I just recently, because I'm on so many podcasts and I always get tongue-tied, it's because there's so many free things and the app is a free download. And so I put a page together of all the free content, because as much as I have all this paid content, I have tons of things where you can get started. And it's on manifestwithvictoria.com. And so you'll, top of the page, you'll see the app, link to where you can download that. But there's several free books, there's several free webinars, there's several free courses, there's several free audios that you can download. And so there's just tons, and I have over 700 videos on my YouTube channel, 350 podcasts that you can listen to. So there's just like, you can just gorge yourself on all kinds of free personal growth material.
Thank you for sharing all of that for free, because,
Yeah.
people aren't able to access, or they may want a session with you and maybe they can't do it just now, but that can get them started. But if people did want to get a session from you, the links to everything will be in the show notes. But are you taking referrals at the moment? And if there's a waiting list, how would you advise people just now?
What they'll do when you hit that page, Manifest with Victoria, at the bottom of the page, the very last section, it does say book a discovery call. So they can even get a free 15-minute discovery call with me, just to see, is this right for them? Is this something that they can do or that they want to do? And I can only take as you can see, I can only take a limited number of clients. I think I probably only have room for a couple more at this point, and then I'm just like, I'm pretty booked. I just got a few more clients in this last week, and it's like, oh, my schedule is super booked right now. But yeah, I think I have room for one or two more.
Okay, yeah, because of course, therapists, one of the things that we struggle with is saying no and taking time for ourselves. And just not wanting to turn anyone away because they're
It's
coming.
hard to turn people away. It really is. And you're like looking at your calendar and it's like, okay, because I wasn't working Mondays or Fridays, and it's like, okay, I guess now I work on Mondays and Fridays again.
That happens. And guys out there, it's not about the money. People think, yes, okay, it's a business. It is a business. But you see Victoria's passion for this. You see how much she's invested, and I mean personally, of herself. So this is not about that.
It's about impact. That's what, at the end of the day, I want to impact. I think I've probably already surpassed 1 million lives, but I want to impact, as many people as I can. And, so I always just kind of feel like time is running out for people to, like just you just want to make that change in your life, and just like stop putting that on hold, stop putting your dreams on hold. Like that's what brings me, that's just I just want people to achieve their goals and their dreams and live their fullest, highest potential. And, there's so much more inside of you than you can even possibly realize. And, and it's just something that I just love to see people do, is blossom into who, they were meant to be.
And as you're saying that, I mean, it's just so clear that this is your calling, and spiritually as well, I would say. This is your call. You're obviously doing the work that you were born to do as such. And, you're the type of person people want to learn from.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, as opposed to maybe an Instagram post, from someone that you don't know, perhaps. I mean, some of them, I'm sure, are okay, but your work is evident, and there's enough out there. Just go to your website, and you'll see the work that you put, because it is client hours. The way you learn as a therapist is working with people. And if you've touched over 1 million lives, those are client hours. That's experience. That is technique. That is everything that you're passing on to people. So of course you must charge for your sessions. Of course you must write and charge for your books and your courses and everything. But there is free content as well. And you should be commended. And, thank you for all the amazing work you're doing and putting out there for people, all of it.
Thank you.
And the books and everything. So guys, please go and follow Victoria. The links are there. Give her a shout out on her YouTube channel as well. I'll put that up. And make sure you go to the app, because as you hear her voice today, it's one of those where you can easily go into a trance. I've had to pinch myself a few times. Got that natural voice, so I'm sure people have said that 1 million times to you. But you have to have that for hypnotherapy.
You do. I've heard some hypnotherapists that don't quite have that gift. It's unfortunate. And it can be worked on. It can be honed. You can get voice training, but I was blessed.
Yes.
I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you so much, Victoria. It's been amazing. Thank you for coming on the show, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. You ask amazing questions. I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and I just really want to wish your guests all the best, and, of life, love, success, happiness, and joy, because everyone deserves that.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Inquisitive Wren podcast. I hope you found it insightful. If you did, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. Don't forget to share it on social media. It really helps us reach more people who resonate with our content. If you haven't already, make sure to follow the show. It's the best way to stay connected and help our Inquisitive Wren community grow. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave a rating and a review to let me know your thoughts. And be sure to follow so you never miss the latest episodes or behind-the-scenes content from the Inquisitive Wren. Thanks again, and as always, stay curious.